Welcome to the deep dive. Okay, forget marathons, forget vertical leaps for a second. Today, we're diving into the ultimate competition, one that involves, well, absolutely no physical strain.
Not at all. This is the war that's fought entirely inside the skull.
Exactly. We are talking about mind athletes, world-class memorizers, human calculators, and of course, elite esports champions.
And it's such a fascinating category, right? Because when you look at these true mind sports, the whole goal is to test the limits of mental strength. It's about endurance and strategy, not physical power.
And these are not just, parlor games anymore. The International Mind Sports Association, IMSA, has actually codified this. They recognize all the classics: chess, bridge, drafts, Go, Mahjong, and Jiangqi.
And what's really telling, I think, is that the International Olympic Committee, the IOC, actually recognizes chess and bridge.
Right.
It just shows you that the world is finally starting to get that competitive mastery isn't just about muscle fibers. It's about cognitive architecture.
So, okay, let's lay out the mission for this deep dive. We're going to try and connect these, seemingly totally different worlds. You've got the ancient memory master.
The modern esports champion, the mental calculator.
Exactly. And the goal is to unlock the core skills that turn just, thinking hard into actual competitive mastery. And we have a really powerful stack of sources today.
We do. We've got details on these astonishing memory feats, the calculation strategies they use in global competitions, and even the unexpected corporate strategy behind the rise of StarCraft.
And the psychology that links it all together. So, if you want a shortcut to being well-informed on what it takes to train your brain for genius-level performance, you should stick with us.
So we have to start with the absolute foundation, which is memory.
Right.
The foundational premise from our sources is just crystal clear. Memory techniques are the single best predictor of top performance in pretty much any complex field.
It's the difference between truly knowing something and just knowing where to Google it.
Exactly. You can't get to insight or mastery without having instant, reliable access to dense knowledge.
I mean, just think about it. If you are having heart surgery, you do not want your surgeon, scalpel in hand, looking up a quick YouTube tutorial.
No, you want them to know it cold.
You need them to know it instantly.
And that drive for instant, reliable knowledge, that's what powers memory athletes. And they compete in what one of our sources called the world's weirdest sport.
It's so weird to watch. From the outside, it looks incredibly boring. It's just people sitting in total silence, cramming thousands of binary digits or shuffled decks of cards into their heads.
Yeah, or random names and faces, all this useless information. But the feat is what matters.
But the techniques behind it are actually ancient.
Oh yeah, thousands of years old. They originated in ancient Greece, where orators and scholars would build these mental libraries to classify and recall huge amounts of text.
But the modern guys, the contemporary mnemonists, they've completely eclipsed those historical feats, haven't they?
They absolutely have. I mean, the achievements today are genuinely staggering. It speaks to an extreme mastery of these underlying techniques.
So what are we talking about? Give me an example.
Okay, so you have athletes memorizing an entire shuffled deck of cards in, under 13 seconds?
13 seconds. That's faster than I can even deal with now.
It's faster than most people can physically count the cards. And it's not just speed, it's the endurance, too.
Right, the endurance aspect.
One of the achievements that was noted was memorizing 600 random digits, read aloud, 1 digit per second.
So that's 10 straight minutes.
10 minutes of totally unbroken, hyper-focused concentration. And the sources, I love this description, they call it meditation on steroids.
That is a perfect description. So how do they do it? How do they bridge that gap between something abstract like a long number and just instant recall?
The answer is visualization. Specifically, spatial visualization. It's the method of loci, or what most people know as the memory palace.
Let's unpack that because it's so brilliant. Our brains are just inherently bad at remembering abstract lists, numbers, dates, names.
Terrible at it.
But we are exceptionally good at remembering places. We evolved to navigate, to remember where the food was, where the threats were.
And that's the key insight. The memory palace hijacks that evolved ability. It transforms that abstract sequence into a vivid, sometimes totally absurd mental image, and then you place it in a familiar location.
You're forcing the abstract information to ride along on the brain's natural GPS.
Exactly. So if you want to remember the abstract concept of curiosity, you don't just think of the word. You might say, visualize the NASA Curiosity rover, the one on Mars, parked right in your bedroom.
It makes the concept physical, tangible.
And then to make the numbers themselves visual, they layer on these specific encoding systems. There's the major system, which converts digits into consonant sounds, which you then form into words.
And the Dominic system, that one's wild.
It is. Pairs of digits get converted into a specific person doing a specific action.
It sounds so inefficient when you first hear about it, which is why it's so surprising that it works so well.
But it does. And the big takeaway here, the aha moment for learning, is that these techniques don't just accelerate raw memory. They accelerate comprehension, creativity, your ability to connect ideas.
The sources basically suggest that by shortcutting that knowledge acquisition process, this kind of training could create generations of geniuses.
Which is a powerful idea. And that mastery of memory naturally leads us into applied mental agility. So let's shift from just recall to competitive mental calculation.
Okay, this I found fascinating. One of the universal strategies for mental math is to always work from left to right.
Always. No elite mental arithmetician works right to left like we're taught in school.
And why is that so important?
It's because working left to right gives you an immediate estimate of the answer. You can approximate, you can spot an error really quickly, and then self-correct on the fly.
Instead of getting all the way to the end and realizing you're way off.
Exactly. And they also use these other really efficient strategies like decomposition. So if you're adding, say, 47 plus 36, you don't do it in columns. You just break it down into 70 plus 13.
Which is so much easier. Or using complements, I love this one, for 760 minus 487.
Right, you don't subtract 47, you subtract 500, which is easy. And then just add the 13 you overshot by backing at the end.
It's all about manipulating the numbers to make them easier for your working memory to handle.
Yeah, and another method that does that taps into these multiple cognitive pathways, is abacus mental math. Practitioners literally visualize an abacus in their mind. They see the beads moving.
And that visualization is the key, isn't it? The research shows it's not just a mental trick. It actually engages visual, auditory, and even tactile pathways in the brain.
That multi-sensory engagement is what supercharges their concentration and speed.
And these skills are put to the ultimate test at the mental calculation workshop, where they have these insane surprise tasks.
Yeah, this goes way beyond just multiplication.
Way beyond. The surprise tasks can be like complex number theory problems, prime factorization, summing a number using squares.
And then you get the really dizzying ones, like extracting the 13th or 17th root of a huge number. Basically undoing this massive multiplication problem entirely in your head.
And the calendar calculation, that's the perfect practical example. They have to instantly find the day of the week for any random date between 1600 and 2100.
Which requires that high-speed recall and complex calculation all happening at once. This need for versatility is really showcased at the Mind Sports Olympiad, the MSO.
Right, which has over 100 different competitions. And that leads to the absolute pinnacle of this whole world, which is the Pentamine World Championship.
Pentamine. This isn't about being a specialist. It's for the best results across 5 completely diverse games.
The need for rapid skill acquisition must be immense.
Oh, is. Our sources mention one champion, to get the title, had to learn a complex new game called Marco Polo in just 2 or 3 days.
A whole new game, under championship pressure, in less than 72 hours.
Think about that cognitive load. It just underscores how valuable those core learning shortcuts we talked about earlier really are.
So now we take that mental versatility and we throw it into the digital arena, esports.
Yeah.
And our sources use StarCraft as this just incredible case study.
It's one of the great accidental success stories in gaming, honestly. The initial success of StarCraft. Brood War as this huge cultural phenomenon in South Korea just completely blindsided Blizzard.
I love that story about Mike Morhaime, one of the founders. He said he was driving to an event in Korea, an event to celebrate selling 2 million copies. He's expecting, a nice corporate dinner.
Instead,
he sees these massive crowds and realizes they're not there for a sales party. They were there for the StarCraft match. It was a total culture shock.
And that success immediately created these profound, almost existential questions for the company. They had to ask, what is our role here?
Do we update the game and risk upsetting this whole pro ecosystem that just popped up?
Exactly. Do we have an ethical responsibility to support these professional careers that are now built on our product? And the big one, how do we monetize this thing we accidentally created?
That shock forced a huge operational shift. So by the time StarCraft 2 came out a decade later, games weren't just products anymore, they were services.
And Blizzard went from being reactive to being incredibly proactive. I'd even say aggressive in their esports strategy.
Aggressive is the right word. Their strategy for the 2012 World Championship Series was something they called content saturation,
They ran something like 60 or 70 live events in 1 year.
which was great for grabbing audience attention, but it also forced a lot of the smaller independent tournament organizers to just fold. They couldn't compete with the publisher.
And then came the controversial region lock strategy. The idea was to promote sustainability in the scenes outside of Korea because they were just getting demolished by Korean players.
And it worked, didn't it? Almost
Yeah.
immediately.
Instantly effective. The number of top South Korean players in the North American and European circuits just plummeted in 2015. And it led to these huge moments for foreign players.
Like David Lobo Mosquito winning in 2015, and then Alex Neeb Sunderhaft winning a major tournament in Korea in 2016. That was unheard of.
Totally. And this all links back to the mind because the mental demands of a game like StarCraft are just immense. The neuroscience research actually shows that skill in the game correlates with measurable differences in brain activity and white matter structure.
So it's literally building a more efficient brain for that task.
Yes, for highly efficient attentional processing, you need incredible resource management, split-second decisions, a high action per minute rate. It's a true test of applied cognition.
Which underscores the final and maybe the most critical pillar of all this, psychology.
Right, the sources are clear. Psychological preparation is absolutely essential in all mind sports.
Yeah.
You need the same high distress tolerance and intense concentration you see in elite physical sports.
It's not enough to just be smart. You have to be resilient.
The key psychological distinction in elite athletes is moving past just striving or surviving to actively thriving.
And thriving is what we call clutch performance, right? The ability to do something extraordinary in the worst possible conditions.
When the pressure should make you fold, but instead it just sharpens your focus.
What's so fascinating is that the mental training toolkit is basically the same across all these different fields. A UFC fighter and a chess grandmaster are using the same strategies.
It's true. They all use structured visualization, psychologically rehearsing flawless execution, seeing yourself win.
They use self-talk, breathing exercises, pre-performance routines to get into the zone.
But the real heavy lifting is the emotional regulation. The training isn't just about focusing, it's about handling that crushing stress and crucially learning how to recover instantly from a mistake without dwelling on it.
And that recovery process often comes down to mindfulness techniques, specifically something called the 3R process.
It's so simple, but it's incredibly effective under pressure.
So what is it?
It's just: first, register that your mind has wandered or you've made an error. Second, release the distracting thought. Just let it go. And third, deliberately refocus your attention back onto the immediate task.
And that repeated 3R cycle is the engine that keeps you in the game. It stops one little slip up from spiraling into a total collapse.
Finally, these elite performers, people like Michael Phelps, they learn to focus only on what they can control.
And to have an identity that's bigger than just the game.
Exactly. They build a self-conception that extends way beyond the arena, and that's the mental architecture you need to weather the low moments and stay confident long term.
So the synthesis here is really powerful. Mastery in these cognitive fields, it isn't some big mystery. It comes from deliberately combining that specialized mental architecture, the shortcuts, the mnemonics, the calculation tricks, with a really high-level psychological discipline.
We started by asking what turns intellectual effort into competitive mastery. And I think the sources give us a really profound conclusion that the capacity for genius isn't based on some innate natural ability. It's based on what you know and how strategically you learn it.
Memory and structured learning techniques, they really are the ultimate game changer.
Absolutely.
So if elite performance, whether it's in a boardroom or an arena, is really just a matter of strategic practice and applied mental architecture, we have to ask you, what seemingly complex skill have you been avoiding just because you haven't found the right learning shortcut yet?
What is the next mental discipline you are going to master?